Good thing we're not talking about anything important.
Hey man, it's a talk about nothing.
That's exactly it. That's beautiful. Why don't we go ahead and jump in right here? What's up, everybody? How you guys all doing? Welcome to a discussion on nothing. We got Mr. Jordan back with us today. My name is Daniel, and today we got Parth joining us.
Yeah.
What up, buddy?
What's up, guys? What's up, man? How you been?
Good. How you been?
I'm all right.
Cool.
Always fine.
Good. Not much. There's not really there's not really an option other than fine, right? Like, otherwise it's just like torture.
Well, I mean, to be fair, there's plenty of options. There's an infinite amount of options.
There's a lot of options.
So you can be fine, you can be in turmoil, you can be happy, you can be content, you can be present. But that's all up to you. But none of it really matters. Yeah. That's just your filter taking it in.
Yeah. I'm gonna light my incense real quick. So I'm not gonna hear you guys for a second.
All right. This is where we talk badly about him. This is the part that, like, you know how we sit and talk at work about. Cool. We sit and talk at work about how terrible Daniel is. He's
right back.
Part, shut up.
Yeah, no, I agree. Daniel's an idiot, so I'm good with it. I'm good with it. But
Jordan talks shit about you all the time.
Always.
It's quite impressive.
Always. It's what I do too, so that's good. I talk shit about me all the time too.
Wait,
no, Jordan. I talk shit about Jordan. Which is that's sort of the same thing though, isn't it?
We're good. Well, it is though. Unfortunately, it is.
Well,
When you say, I hate this person, or even farther, when you say, I hate this.
I hate anything. I hate blank. I hate.
That's all you.
And then just I. Exactly. And that's the move, right? And that's why, Jordan and Daniel and Parth, we are kind of like each other, but not. That's the beauty of it, right? Quite. It's like we are, but we're not. It's like friends, right? We are, but we're not. But we are. But we're not.
I feel that
it depends on which one you say last. That's
true.
The one that counts.
Yeah, and that's true.
What is first?
That's actually a good point too.
What about the first? Yeah.
What's the difference, right? What's the difference between first and last? What is the difference? Is there one?
I don't know. It's all in continuity. So to me, there is going to be a first after the last anyway, right?
That's true. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, each one is
it might be a different thing.
Yeah, well, it's like octaves almost, right? In music, E is also E. It's the same. They're the same note. They're just different octaves of each other, right? So it's that's sort of.
Okay, but if you're completely tone deaf and you play E1, E2, right? Just boom, boom.
Okay.
Back to back, and there's no break of silence between those two notes. Right. You're gonna notice the difference.
Which is first and which is last. Which is the beginning of the succession and which is the next. That's like the shepherd tone, right? We always end up kind of flashing back to older episodes. But the shepherd tone, right? It's like this audio illusion that happens in which essentially you can either get it like an ascending tone or a descending tone, and it just what it does is it blends the two octaves perfectly so that at some point they kind of it's like one of those, like when you take a screen and you go through it and my hand would come out this side, right? If I kept going, it would just loop essentially. That's essentially what's happening with those audio tones, right? Is they're looping and they're looping so close that they sound like the same tone. So it sounds like it's just constantly going up, when what's really happening is it's actually resetting itself, but you're not noticing it because you're attributing the higher tone because your brain's going a certain direction.
Yeah, it's not until you add a different frequency.
Well, and it's a perfect example of how time works, right? Like the past is this thing that's what? Right? And then the future is this thing that's what? Like,
well, it's non-existent.
What's the difference between the two? And like, if you really dive down that rabbit hole, there's not a difference between the two because they're both right now.
Happening now.
Yeah.
Or they are both moving, right? So they are both moving while you are there.
Like a loop.
Exactly.
It's constant.
They are both moving at the same time as well.
It's eternity. It's eternity. It's literally eternity. I mean, where's the end of a sphere?
Yeah, I mean, it's no different than just watching a train pass by.
I'd like to put it as like a figure eight, man. Like it's beautiful. You have two hemispheres that are completely attached, right? They both seem absolutely separate from each other, right? When you're doing this loop over here, it seems so much more different than doing this loop over here. But when it connects back through, where do you draw the line?
Yeah, they're all inverted, right? You go this way with this one, then you go this way with this one. And it's all inverted. And that's why they use that for the infinity sign, because it's exactly what that is. Where does this end? Like, where did this start and where did it end? See, it didn't start. I just jumped in somewhere in the middle of it.
I mean, you have never seen the beginning of it. You are probably never going to see the end of it, right?
Exactly.
Probably, definitely.
Yeah, man. Yeah. When you were born, you were dropped right into the middle of something already taking place.
Dude, for a long time, I used to think that the world actually started with me being born, right? Till some point, you do actually think about it.
Yeah.
And then you realize, no, there has been a long past.
Yeah, like, oh wait, yeah, there's been a lot going on. Like, there's been so much going on that like it goes way fucking farther back.
That realization itself is, being conscious about it, right?
Absolutely. I think that's definitely a way. It's a way of awakening, right? There's not many ways to awaken. Breathing, you can awaken to like the moment, right? That's essentially all you're ever recognizing too, is the moment. Like, what else could you recognize?
Yep.
Yeah.
I love asking people that.
It's so easy to mask over that, right? Let's put it into terms of let's say that if the only meal that you eat your entire life is top ramen because you're broke and you're doing a podcast on YouTube about the discussion on nothing, and all you can afford is
really
top ramen.
Specific.
let's break it down to specifics, shall we? If we're only eating top ramen for the rest of your life,
what
at
flavor?
some point in time, well, does the flavor matter? You're not going to know anymore.
You wanted to do specifics, smart ass.
All right, let's say we go with hot and spicy minus the shrimp, because those shrimp are fucking weird. Where do they get those?
They're interesting. They're good. They're good, but I feel you though.
My filter disagrees, but let's say that you only eat hot and spicy shrimp ramen noodles every day of your life. At some point in time, you're not even going to taste it anymore because you're so accustomed to that taste that you don't even notice it. But then you add in a bay leaf.
Here's an even deeper fucking puzzle for you. You ready for this? If you only ate top ramen your whole life, you wouldn't even taste anything, including top ramen, because you wouldn't have anything to compare it against. Yeah,
that's exactly
you would
what I was trying to
only
say.
Have top ramen, and so you wouldn't even be able to taste it at all. You said again, you wouldn't taste it in the first place. You'd have nothing to compare it to. You have nothing to contrast it. That's why it's so hard. That's why I like saying nothing as opposed to something, right? Because something and nothing, they're both the same exact thing. However, something leaves space, right? Something anticipates something else, right? There's not anything else. Therefore, nothing sort of covers that for you. That's non-duality, right? Are you familiar with non-duality, right?
I'm not. No, this is a new idea for me, I think.
Yes.
Now that's
kinda, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. You definitely are familiar with it. It's this. Non-duality just is. Like, I don't even like saying non-duality is what's going on, because that's like implying, again, a something to it. Non-duality is literally not to. Like, it means not to. Like,
well,
so.
Yeah.
But not to me also means that there is something, right? So not.
Right. That
So
it's not.
taking the place. Yeah. That is not.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe nothing should be abbreviated to the
This
fact
is
that
why
no thing.
this is why it's impossible to actually talk about, right? The real thing that we're actually getting down to, which is what you just pointed out, Parth. You said, but that's still like not something. Therefore, it's not something. And by it being not something, that's being something, right? It's being not something.
So then let me break. So can we say that, okay, then this is a talk about nothing, but something, right? So it's one and the same thing.
Exactly. Yes. It's the yin yang, right? It's the something in the nothing. And it's like realizing that there's the yin yang, right? There's the darkness and the light.
Yeah.
And then
one cannot be without the other.
Yeah, exactly. So there's not really darkness and light. There's just the yin yang. That's it. There's nothing to that. The contrast that we build, right, as humans and like living in a dualistic mind, right? That's how the mind operates. It has to have dualism. And so, like, living in that thing, we have to kind of go, well, this is this and that is that. But it's all just one nothing.
Yeah,
because I don't like saying thing. It's not one thing, right? Because it's just what is. And you can't talk about it. You can't put any labels on it. Because then
talking about it is a label.
Right.
Yep, naming something.
Non-dualistic is a label. Which now, non-dualistic is the closest agreeable term that we can come to, but it's still just a term, which is just a label, which completely obliterates the whole thing.
It's not agreeable, brother.
That's
so many people
disagree. I believe I believe all it is naming is basically language.
Yeah, it's labeling, right? That's it.
But like we need that, right? We need that to communicate it.
Absolutely.
To communicate, even to
we wouldn't be able to talk
right
now. Yeah, we wouldn't be able to talk right now without labels. But that's what the mind is. You know, it's just this crazy label maker. And as soon as it gets a label, it goes, that's what that is. And there it is. And it can be, it realizes it can like put new labels over stuff, right? But it's just a label maker.
Yeah. No, I mean, my point in this is that, okay, you need that. Even if it's label making, if you are not labeling it, what is it then?
Right.
Right.
It's just what remains, right? Which you can't put words on.
I mean, with any particular phenomena or whatever new understanding one may have gathered, one must label it in some ways.
Right.
Able to communicate.
In order to communicating, right? Or you can just bask in it, I suppose, right? But even basking in it puts a label on it of this is good. This is a good thing, right? This is enlightenment. This is blah, 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 blah. It's a label. It's not it anymore. Yeah, you've lost it. All of a sudden, you've lost it.
Right. It's if I were to say, Parth, if you were born and nobody gave you a name, because you don't have a name, does that mean you don't exist anymore?
I think, yeah. I mean, in some ways, I don't exist.
Well, you never really do.
In every way, no.
But you do.
But I do, right? Physically, I do.
Right.
I am, so I know.
Right. There is something. There is something, right?
I am.
There's something because there's nothing. And that's that's what we like always sort of like coming back to, sort of that there's like nothing is what's sort of experiencing everything. And like realizing that is such an important factor in functioning in this thing, like in really squeezing the juice, right? There's there's ways to squeeze a lemon, right? Like a lot of people will just cut the lemon in half and they'll squeeze it and then they'll throw it out, right? You lost so much juice by doing it, right? You could cut the lemon up into slices and squeeze each slice, right? That makes it even better, right? Or you could peel the lemon and then you've got all the juice. You can eat the rinds too. Include the shitty stuff. If you include the shitty stuff, you get all the juice. That's why it's like super important to like, self-development is super uncomfortable, right? But it's so imperative and it's so important to really, I mean, if you want to be successful at this thing, right, that we call life, I like to call it this thing we call life, right? Because it's like sort of what we call it. It's just, we call it like, we're living this thing called life, right? So like, in order to function in that game, like you got to read the entire manual. Like to really, really squeeze the juice, you got to read the whole manual. And part of that manual is like hidden, and you have to like go inside and find it. And once you can find it, all of a sudden, like, I don't want to say shit gets solved for you, because it's not the case. Like that would give a false impression, right? But all of a sudden you have the means in which to do exactly what it is you're trying to do, right? I was talking with a friend the other day, and she was talking about how, you know, she was very bummed that like her friend was going to college and making money, like $40,000-$50,000, like right out the gate, right? She just got out of college, just got a job, like is killing it now. And, you know, she spent 4 years in college or something like that. And my friend has been working, she says, I've been working for like, you know, I think she said like 12 years, 13 years, something like that at the place she works. And she's like, and I just like, I barely make enough to get by. Like, what the fuck, you know? And it was like, well, that's because she squoze all the juice she could. She figured out what juice she wanted. That's like super important too, right? Is like figuring out what juice you want. What do you want to do with your life? What's your purpose for being here, right? What is it that fires you up, that keeps you like motivated, that gets you just burning, right? What is that thing? Once you figure that out, you go, oh, I don't like grapefruit juice. That's fucking nasty. I don't like orange juice. Mm-hmm. I don't like apple juice. I don't mind lemon juice, oddly. I really don't like limes. I love pears. If we could juice pears, man, and your friend says, bro, they have like a juicer for pears.
Yeah.
They have a killer juicer for pears. And you're like, what? Like, well, yeah, you got to figure out what juice you like first, though, right? And then once you figure that out, that's what I told her. It's like, it's because your friend knew exactly what she wanted to do. She didn't have a question about what it was that she was trying to do with her life. She already knew what she wanted to do. And you don't. I even asked her, I said, what do you want to do? She said, well, I don't know. I said, well, there you go. That's why. You don't know what juice you want, you know? You don't know what juice you want. And so it's super important to sort of like go through the nasty shit of like sitting and meditating, right? Meditating for like an hour every day. It's brutal. It's brutal to do 5 minutes. Most people struggle with 5 minutes, you know? And, but it's so important, you know? It's such an important, like, skill to learn, right? Is how to control your attention.
But at the same time, I do also believe that motivation is something that comes from within as well. I mean, I agree. I mean, you'd automatically go through those struggles if you know that this is what you want out of that one particular thing.
Right. Yeah. You have to find that thing. So, right.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of people's thing is they don't know what the hell they want.
Because as in when you go inside, thinking and you know, making sure that, okay, yes, I'm in the right direction or not. As soon as you think about that and you go through that process, you're automatically going through the struggles that come with it as well.
Right.
Yeah.
In order to get there. It's always a level up.
Yep. Exactly.
And between those steps, whatever struggle that's meant to be, you sometimes it's possible that you are automatically facing those because you know you want to be there without consciously thinking about it. Absolutely. Because that's the motivation. Yeah. The inspiration it can be that high at the same time.
What do we all do? What do the three of us do for a living? We fucking make films, right?
Yeah. Yep.
We make fucking films.
I was going to say I work full time as well. So does Jordan. Yeah. But yes, I do make films as well.
Yeah. And
At
like,
least I've started that since a while now.
that's a passion, right?
That's a passion, exactly.
There you go. It fires you up, and like you just know what you need to do, and you know the struggles that come along with it, and you're cool with the struggles that come along with it.
Absolutely.
Because you know the juice. You know that juice that's gonna get squozed is worth it.
I want to get essence. I want to get essence out of what this is called, what we call it as life. What is the essence of life? And it's a very individual thing, right? I mean, your essence of life is something else. Like you said, if you squeeze life, what's the essence that you want to see for yourself?
That's beautiful.
Right?
I love
that.
That's way beautiful.
Yeah, that's good. And I hate the old adage of, is the juice worth the squeeze?
Right.
Like, I think I used to like. We're just gonna hold.
Sorry, I'm back.
Okay. So it's kind of like that old adage of that they say, is the juice worth the squeeze? And that rings true for a lot of people. That kind of helps them decide the actions they're going to take towards the goal they're trying to meet, right? But as I'm growing and learning and becoming more in tune with, this, I would like to say myself, but there's just this.
I like the word this, yeah. Jim Newman uses the word this to explain like the thing that can't be explained, because it's like it's near impossible to explain. So saying this just labels whatever's going on, which is what it is, right?
There's just this. So that old adage and is the juice worth the squeeze? Well, I actually think everything is worth the squeeze, because even if you squeeze it, so if I find some way to squeeze the juice out of pine cones or dog shit, I'm gonna realize real quick, damn it, I don't like that juice.
Yeah, those juices were not good.
Therefore, it is just as pertinent and important.
Yeah, you now know, don't drink that juice. Then you can tell people, don't drink that juice.
Yeah.
Like, because that juice is terrible.
but somebody else,
or pine cone juice actually is really good. I bet you it's really good. Dude, it's probably tasty.
It's probably
really good, dude.
But that goes right back to saying, like, you can give a label to anything, right? But labels, and we've already mentioned this in this episode, that labels are due for change. Therefore, if the juice isn't worth it, it's always worth the squeeze. We can change that label always. Like nothing.
Labels peel off. That's why,
The only consistent is this. The only consistent is this. You can name it whatever the hell you want it, and this isn't really even right. This at some point in time might change.
This is a label. It's all still a label.
Being aware, being open to the experience of everything really is your only option, and you can close that away. You're still experiencing it. You're just experiencing yourself trying to not experience it. That's still an experience.
Get me out of this thing. I don't want to do this.
That's your experience, not mine.
And this actually may be sort of triggery for some people. I do apologize if it is, because I'm not intending to trigger anybody. However, like, suicide is somewhat of a pointless sort of thing to do to yourself, right? Because where are you going to go? I mean, you've always just sort of been around, right? Tell me a time when you weren't around. Like, you've heard about them. You've heard about them. But you ever experienced the time of not being around?
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely not.
Exactly. So, like, why would you think that suicide would get you out of that? It's not going to get you out of that. It's going to keep you right here with, I mean, the stress and struggles may go away, but who says your mind stops with this thing?
It doesn't. And
it has nothing to do with this thing. This is just a filter in which the mind uses to see the world.
But at the same time, we don't know.
Right. We don't. We don't. That's true. Absolutely.
So we cannot say that with surety.
Right.
I mean,
and
it's possible there is absolutely nothing after we go to ashes, right? We don't know.
Right.
That.
Absolutely. But then it's still impossible to not exist. See, not existing would mean a lack of experience of that happening. Therefore, if we just like died out and everything went to black, well, guess what? That's still an experience of blackness and darkness and nothing, right? That's still an experience. So it's still existence. So it's impossible to actually not exist. In order to not exist, first off, would it matter? Because if you don't exist, well, you're not around to even bother to care if it matters if you exist or not.
Yep.
So non-existence is actually non-existent.
And you know what? I can give you a personal example, like that I have.
Trying to say something.
Yeah. So like what you were just touching on there, like
Parth keeps trying to say something.
That's all right. Go ahead.
So
no, I don't.
You know what, Daniel? Like you've never even heard this story, but there was a point in my life up to this point, you know, where I was in a very, very bad accident. Okay, I was unconscious for 3 days. I was actually in a coma.
Crazy.
Yeah, no, I've never told you about this.
Yeah, so I didn't know that.
I used to race and ski for a shop called Miller Ski and Cycle. I was sponsored through them, and I did downhill ski racing. And I got into a gnarly accident. I crashed into another skier, as I was told, because everything from that day and beyond for about a week is erased. I can't remember anything about it. But the one thing I do remember is after that collision, I don't remember the collision per se, but I do remember this moment where it was just blackness, but the feelings and the emotions and everything that you feel throughout life was flooded. It was so intense. You couldn't diversify all of it. It was just whole. And what it felt like was a constant buzzing. Even though that I was unconscious and laying there, it was just a constant feeling of vibration and buzzing. And I can't make out anything. I can't pinpoint dreams, thoughts, any of that. All it was pure existence. And I don't know really what to make of that, but I do think on my own personal account that, you know, going back to that suicide thing, like you want to run away from everything. The quickest way to run away from anything is to just exist and deal with it, right?
Yep, exactly. That is the quickest way to run away from something.
Because I will tell you
want
from my experience,
deal with it.
Of being in a bit of a slight coma. I guess it's probably full on a coma. Like I was out, dude, for days. And to me, days don't mean a damn thing. Time is non-existence, but I felt everything to the point that I felt it so extremely and so fully that I can't actually put an emotion to it, because emotions are secondary. Emotions do not exist.
Emotions are an afterthought.
Everything that I felt was a constant buzz. It's like sitting on top of like just something that's shaking. Like I can't explain it. Like even like physical feeling doesn't exist. Like it's so hard for me to talk about. Yeah. Imagine that. So
yeah, crazy, right?
It was nuts.
When you hide something, you hide it where nobody can fucking talk about it. That like the universe is very, very intelligent in the way it designed itself. It knows exactly where to put stuff and how to hide it so that it shows only the pieces of it that need to see it.
Yeah.
You know?
And even to a physical sense, dude, like the senses that you experience every second, like those cease to exist. Like the feeling of breathing, that's a thing.
Yeah, gone.
That was gone.
When I turned around in my kitchen, I think that's actually what made me realize like that I wasn't like. So Parth, I'll go ahead and fill you in real quick, just because I don't think I've ever talked to you about this. So a couple of years ago, I could tell you it was actually Christmas Eve, 2016. It was the exact day it happened, which is funny because It was the day I realized days don't exist. But I basically, I just like turned around in my kitchen. We were getting ready to head up to my family's for Christmas Eve up in the mountains. And I turned around in my kitchen, and it's very difficult to put into words. The best way I've found to describe it is it's like you know when like you take a cup of water and you move it too quick and it like sloshes over the side, right? So when I turned around, that's what happened, except I sloshed completely out of myself and was everything. And breathing disappeared. Like this thing was breathing, but I wasn't just like, I wasn't this. It was clear as day this wasn't me. Like it was, but like so was the fucking wall, so was the counter, so was the air, so was like my wife, so was the washing machine, so was the door, so was like the feeling in my hands. All of that was me. Like there was no separation between anything anymore. And like you said, it's this rushing of sort of everything. Just boom, here you go. And all this, it's so everything that it ceases to be anything. And it's so much that it's like you're flooded with this like, holy shit, that's right. Because you're instantly reminded of where you were before you were born. And that's what happened to me. It was like, and I'm not this. I've never been this. I've always been like all of this. Yeah, and there's no question about it. It's just, there it is. I like to say I died that day. Like Daniel, the concept of Daniel died that day.
I'm kind of curious about this. Like, did anything like, so you didn't anticipate this at all, right? It's a regular day.
No, not at all. It was completely sporadic. Like it took me completely off my hinges. I mean, I didn't exist anymore. And it's so hard to even say, but like the idea of I just was like gone. It wasn't a thing anymore. It was not a thing. There was just existence. That's like, and even that is like putting too many words to it. No. It was just like life in its entirety, like all of it.
Yeah.
And like, that was all there was. Like there wasn't anything else.
Solely existence in harmony with the
absolutely.
things, with people.
Yeah. Everything was everything was one symbiotic like thing. And it's like, and I wasn't any piece of it. I was none of it. So much so that I was like, I had to have been all of it because there wasn't a me left to be part of it. Right. Because like,
and more importantly, there's not a you left to even question where you fit into it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And the only reason I brought that up, like my experience of that is I'm not going to say that I've been on this journey lately of diving deeper into myself because I've always been on it. What I will say is I'm more aware of this journey. Okay. The journey has always taken place. It doesn't stop.
Yeah, nothing changes except your relationship to life.
Yes.
Like that's it.
But as I've been doing more work and diving in deeper and doing more meditating, more, just becoming more aware of this that's taking place in this. Okay. I've been having these dreams, and for the last 2 weeks, I couldn't make sense of what this dream was, but it's so damn similar. I knew where I was, but there's no images. There's no pictures. There's just this flood of everything. And it wasn't until, honestly, probably on my drive home last night, I was leaving a buddy's place he's a musician. He was rehearsing and all that stuff. I was on my drive home, and it became very, very clear to me that the thing that I was dreaming was exactly what I felt when I was 9 years old and I got in that skiing accident. Ooh. So that's how long ago that was, and I forgot all about it. But the funny thing is the only thing I remember about it is nothing. Nothing at all. I don't remember a damn detail. I just remember all of the details as they're presented to me in a flash of nothing.
Yeah. And that's the other part is like when it happened, it was like, and then I was instantly introduced with an idea. The idea was you can quit this all and just say, fuck it. And you're done and you can leave. Like here's the door. Like it was like in a haunted house, right? Where they were like, let's turn on the lights real quick. You know, I was like, you guys, everybody good? Everybody's good? Okay. And they flipped the lights back off, right? And it was like in that split second, I got offered this, like, you can bounce if you want to bounce. Or you can, like, you know, work on some shit. And my brain went, that's odd. Like if I bounce, which is it's an odd thought that occurred when it happened. But I went, if I leave, like my brain was like, what was happening inside my head when I was getting offered to leave, to bounce, I mean, like I was getting offered to end my existence here. Like it was just like, hey, like you can call it quits right now. And like, so you'll just bounce out of here. You won't have to stay with Daniel anymore. Like you can just leave. And I was like, that's fucking crazy. Like, what do you mean? Like, what the hell do you mean? Like, what the hell's going on right now, right? And like, my poor brain couldn't comprehend what was happening.
Complete disconnect from it.
Yeah, it was like, what the hell? Like, yeah, you don't have to chill with Daniel anymore. And it was like, okay, but if I leave, like, what's Daniel gonna do? And it was like,
nope.
It's not great, but I mean, you don't have to deal with it anymore. And I was like, no, like I would rather deal with it. Like I can't just leave him to do whatever this fucking obviously not good thing is that he's going to do. Right. And I sort of in that moment, like, and it was like, I got like this, I don't know how to describe it. It was like the universe gave me this big, I was like, no, I got to stay. I'll deal with it. Like I was going through some turmoil in my head. Like I was at a shit job. I had just like gotten to a new band. I was like going through a lot of stuff in my brain, and like a lot was happening in my life, and it was really stressful for me. And like there was this moment, like I said, where I got offered, like, you can take off, you can bounce out of here, or you can stick around and like really get the juice out of this thing. Basically was, and I went, I can't just leave, because I was like nervous, right? I was really nervous that somebody I loved or something would get hurt maybe, or like, because I used to be an asshole, you know, and I used to completely not give a shit about other people. And like, that was clear to me at that moment. When that happened to me, it was like, oh my God, I've been a complete piece of shit. And if I keep going this way, I'm going to end up killing somebody. Like, that's basically like what it was like, kind of clear to me. I don't know why. I don't know how. Wasn't revealed those kind of details, right? But it was just like, hey, you're on a bad path. You can fix it or you can take off. If you take off, the bad path will happen, but you don't have to stress about it. So it's sort of like, you can be selfish if you want, sort of thing. Right? I was like, no, I can't do that. So I said, sorry, I don't mean to, I'm just almost done. So I was like, no, I gotta stay. And when that happened, it was like the universe gave me this big old hug, right? Like this, like, all right, cool. I'm going to show you something really crazy real quick. And like, when that happened, like me went sort of backed up and like was looking at Daniel and just looking at the entirety of Daniel's life as a separate thing. It wasn't disassociation. That's not what I'm saying here. It was a very, very clear concept that what I was sitting in is what everyone is. There was no question to me at all. It was like all of a sudden the universe went, by the way, here's the secret to me. Like,
welcome,
like,
right?
Here you go. Yeah, it was absolutely like, welcome back. You know, it was this reminder of like, this is how it is. And like, and it was also like, okay, now you know what you got to do. You're gonna have to go through some shit. You know what you got to do. And it was like, and you can't tell anybody. Right. And I was like, well, how's that going to work? And so far, so good. I haven't told anybody successfully about what this is.
Yeah, you never will.
Exactly. And that's what it was. That's what it told me right then. It said, by the way, this is never, ever, ever going to be told to anyone.
Yeah,
it's
man.
your dog.
You know.
It's your dog coming up and saying, "No one's ever gonna believe you."
Yeah.
It kind of comes back to the point I feel, and understanding what you just said. It kind of comes back to the point of that thing that thing is something that we can touch, so we can name it. But feeling is not something that you can name, because
Exactly.
there is no way somebody else can experience that, right?
Exactly. You are
They might have experienced it in their own terms, or
Right.
their experience might be very different in a very similar situation as well. But there is no way to, sometimes maybe there is no way to even comprehend it. Explain it might be a whole different thing, right? That's what you're trying to say.
Right.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's a summary I got from it.
I think the only thing that you can properly explain to somebody that they can actually understand is the feeling of taking a breath. I think that's it. Outside of that,
it's still a label.
I don't
That's
know.
still a label, and it still doesn't point at what it is. Breathing isn't what
Yeah.
it is. Like you don't need to think about breathing. Do you think about breathing? No, you
Sometimes
just do
I
it.
have to, actually. Sometimes I have to. So
Yeah?
if I'm writing maybe a story that, or I pondered upon a thought, or I came across a thought accidentally, and that excited me so much that if I sit down and write it, I want to write it so fast so that I don't lose that thought. And then when I'm doing that, I forget about everything. Sometimes I have to then relax and take a deep breath.
Fair.
Where I skip breathing.
Yeah. Do you beat your heart?
Do I beat my heart?
Do you consciously beat your heart?
Yeah. I mean, consciously, sometimes I have to, like, not beating the heart, but breathing per se.
Yeah, but that's slowing your heart. Do you beat?
Yeah.
Do you actually have to make your heart beat?
I don't know how to put it. I mean, yeah.
The answer is
in
no.
a way I can relate to it. I don't know how to explain it, but just to get back to it.
You know how to feel your heartbeat, yes. But
Yes,
do you
exactly.
actually physically, like I pick this phone up, do you make your heart beat? Do you beat your own heart?
Yeah, it's something that beats. It's something that makes it beat. Yep.
It beats itself. That's what happens though. You have no part of it.
Nope.
Yeah.
I mean the real ultimate
I don't.
right? Does Brahman, right? Brahman. That's sort of the Hindu, like that's where non-duality comes from, by the way. It comes from a concept called Advaita Vedanta, which literally means not duality, right? It means not two things, not a world of two things, right? So it's essentially saying that is Brahman. That is the ultimate state of reality. So on that level, yes, you beat your heart. But you, Parth, don't. Just like me,
you would have
Daniel
to be
doesn't.
separate from it.
Exactly. You would have to actually physically be apart from the thing, but it's all just one symbiotic.
Right. But just making the point to when you say that do you actually skip breathing? Yes, it does happen, and it might have happened to you as well.
Fair, yes, fair. However, you didn't like skip breathing and then forget to start back up.
No.
Because your body went, I got this, and it just fired it back up.
Yep.
Without any conscious effort of going, hey, you better breathe or we're gonna die, homie.
But it's a combination of mind and body as well, right? Like not just
absolutely.
Body.
Right. Well, and that's the thing.
Somewhere.
Mind, when you really dive too deep, it's all made of mind, right?
It basically comes back to this fundamental thing that there is you can put it under the nest of survival instinct as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, our brain developed in such a way that we are able to survive through this world.
Yeah.
It's the way to live. It's the way to live, right?
I like a dear friend of mine always says, he says, I have a brain that's evolved to keep me alive, but a mind that wants to destroy the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah. See,
everything is all mind.
That's the game of mind. That's literally the game of mind. That's the whole point in you being here, is to destroy yourself. Believe it or not.
Oh yeah.
The whole point of being a human is to die. I know that doesn't make sense.
That's it.
But that's okay.
That's it. That's literally
it's a paradox. It's a paradox.
It's
in
the,
one way,
it's the ultimate.
It's a need to survive as well, and it's knowing that you're gonna die.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate
destroy
course
yourself
of
as
teaching
well.
you to let go. It's the ultimate course of teaching you to let go, because once you let go, you realize there's nothing that you could have held on to.
Yeah, you couldn't have held on to anything. Like I love playing. This is a game. I don't think I've done this on the podcast yet, so this will be fun actually. And you'll probably get the game pretty early on, Parth. But go ahead and play along just for our viewers, so we can get through the whole thing. So you know the world in 5 different ways, correct?
Yeah.
Possibly a couple others, like
right.
Intuitiveness, feeling, stuff like that. There's different, internal feeling. I'm talking. There's also, internal feeling really is just a physical reaction to something the mind thinks, right? But so you know the world though in 5 ways. We're taught those 5 ways when we grow up, and that is our senses. Right? Sight, sound, taste, smell, and touch, right?
Yeah.
All 5 of those. And each one of those, right, we've been led to believe are like how we experience physical reality, right? Because they like to say physical reality. So this game is going to point one thing out to you. We're going to run through each of these senses real quick. The first sense, we'll go ahead and do sight. So on your screen, you can see my blue guitar here, right? So the color blue right there. Oh, you probably can't see it, Jordan. Jordan's colorblind, so. Anyways, this guitar's blue, Jordan. This is green, though, just so you know. I'm just kidding. They're the exact same color. Anyways, so that color, though, blue, right? Can you grab that color? Can you physically reach out and grab the color blue?
No, you cannot.
No. It's an interpretive thing, right? It's an informational thing.
Yep.
Yeah. So, okay, so that one's not physical. You can count sight off as being physical. There's definitely, occurrences inside your eyeballs, right, that they're physically happening that allow like whatever, right? But your experience of sight, right? Can you grab the view of the room right now? Can you grab what you're seeing ever? No.
Grab it on film.
Yeah, sight. Yeah, there you go. But that's still not quite grabbing it, right? And honestly, that's a big reason why, like, in a lot of cultures, it's a no-no to like get your picture taken or to, be videoed or to have an art piece done of you, because it captures your soul.
Oh yeah, that's what the religion. Thing. Yeah, that's what Islam is, right? They don't have any picture of God.
Right. Yeah.
There is no way you can picturize a God, right?
Yeah. The closest thing they have is the call to prayer, right? That's the personification of God. Exactly. And their writing. That's the closest they can get to God.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's the purpose of it. I believe that as well.
Okay, so sight, not physical. We can count that. Check that one off the list. Okay, so sound. Can you grab the sound, the action of the hearing, right? Can you grab sound? I knew Jordan was gonna do something like that. And usually I'll get the argument of, well, you can like move sound waves. Right, okay, can you
that move? Can you grab it? No.
Yeah, can you grab the sound waves even though you can just move them, right?
That's all I did. I moved the headphones through my head. That was it.
Yeah. And even still, the sound waves reaching your ear, that act is what I'm talking about. That's how you know sound is that act. It's not the sound waves that you know sound. It's the act of hearing that you know sound. So that's another non-physical.
Not even an act. It's the beating of the eardrums, right? So eardrums will beat at a particular frequency that will resonate to whatever you are hearing.
Right. Yeah. But you hearing is what we're referring to.
Correct.
It's that part. It's the hearing part that we're talking about. It's not even because that's vibration.
It's not a physical movement. Thing. That's
Right. Yeah. So then you've got taste. Lick a pile of dog shit and get that taste out of your mouth and tell me that it's pretty sure you can't do it. Pretty sure you can't do it. So like let's not go further into that one. Smell, right? Smells the same way. You can whiff it out of the way, but the act of smelling is not physical. Now, touch is the one where everybody sort of gives me a little grief, right? Because touch is physical, isn't it? Is it?
Of course.
Like,
no.
Smack your arm real quick for me. Do that. Just give it a smack.
Yeah, it's a physical thing.
Give it a smack. Can you grab grab that sting that you're feeling and throw it off your arm? No, it's not physical. There's no physicality to feeling either. It's a mental interpretation. Putting your fingers together, right, is a mental interpretation. Like, sense what that is. There's a feeling of your fingertips touching your nervous system, right? It's an interpretation. It's a feeling, which I just showed you all 5 of the ways you know the world aren't physical, which shows you very clearly that we don't exist in a physical universe. We exist in a mental universe that likes to subjectively pretend that it's in a physical universe and that it's objectively physical.
Yeah.
But it's all just a subjective mental construct that's not even a construct. It's just this, it's like the sea, right? Like waves don't freak out when they reach the shore because they're just the sea.
It's kind of
they retreat back into the hole.
Yeah.
It's basically all mental construct. That's true. But this reminds me of say my wife, right? My wife is a chemist. Okay. So she would tell me that this is all chemistry. Everything is a bondage. So whatever physical reality we see is chemistry, just as well as whatever happening in the brain is also chemistry.
Right. I agree with that too. One thing that I found quite fascinating though is you find me a scientist that is confident in their interpretation of what consciousness is.
Sure. Confidence or not. I mean, it's difficult to experiment with all. So it's difficult to get any empirical idea on that.
Yeah, it's how would consciousness like objectively look at itself? It's impossible for it to. That's right. like telling the water in the bowl to check out what it's like outside the bowl, you know, without leaving the bowl. It's like, wait, like what? that doesn't make sense.
Well, and it's not.
I'm not talking about the fish. I'm talking about the water too.
But the water's not going to leave the bowl on its own. The water needs something to turn around so fast that it spills over, if you will. It's not going to do it on its own.
That it spills out in its kitchen and it fucking realizes it's the universe.
It needs energy. It needs energy to move. Yeah. It needs energy to.
There's a bit of that push, right? What's that energy? What is that energy? I beg to say it's you.
That's the thing. That's the thing, right? I mean, you can all say that it's conservation of all the energies as well. It's a balance of all the energies too.
Yeah.
So you apply an energy to water.
It's this, right? It's if I push my fingers this way, like my fingers aren't like going into my other finger. It's moving with my fingers, right? Like if I move my hand, the air molecules all around my hand move with my hand. They symbiotically know what to do, just like trees do, just like birds do, just like fish do. Like the universe just knows what to do. Existence in its entirety, like knows what it needs to do to function right.
Are you saying you are important then?
Not at all. I'm saying I am the very like lowest importance in the entire universe. What I'm saying is that the whole universe has zero importance. And that's the beauty of it. Like, that's what you can wake up to. You can create importance, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's all. I mean, we do have some ego somewhere or the other, right?
Right, yeah. Like, well, there has to be a balance.
Yep.
There has to be a balance. How would you even know good without evil?
At the same time, once you don't exist, the universe is going to continue just as it is, right?
Yeah. Well,
in the grand scheme of things.
The beauty of it is, like, let's pretend, right? This is an Alan Watts statement, but let's pretend that you're right. Like, when you die, you just kind of go into this non-existence period, right? And then all of a sudden, you just, like, existence wants to happen again, right? And so you exist again. Where would the end of existence be if non-existence took place? Just by its sheer definition, it wouldn't be there ever. It would vanish from view. So during that time of non-existence, right, what we would consider death, right? At that time, there isn't a time, there isn't anything, there's nothing there. And then when existence comes back, that's when the fluidity continues. The river never got stopped, right? It's like Moses parting the sea. The sea doesn't really get parted. The sea just moves, right? And then returns back to itself, unaware that it even moved. Like the fish in the sea, do you think the fish in the sea were like, hey, like, oh my God, he took some of our water away? No, they just
don't swim that way.
The ocean changed a little bit, right? Obviously, it's a metaphor, and it's like, I'm not saying Moses. There's like a guy that actually like did that. It's all metaphor, right? That's sort of like most every single religious text is metaphor. If it's not metaphor, it's bullshit. You get what I'm saying? So like, that's the point of religions, is like a parable in which you can understand the ununderstandable. Like you can't understand it, but you can try. This could be considered a religion, a discussion on nothing.
This is the closest thing we have.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
The closest thing we got. This is the closest story we got to at least be able to set you up for understanding something.
Right. Yeah. I mean, with that, and like I said, so like non-existence or nothing, if you will, right? That would be like, it wouldn't matter. Like, so this isn't that, obviously. Like, it's clear as day. This is not non-existence. Like, but it is nothing. And that's the beauty of it. And that's the paradox, and it's impossible to talk about. And we've said it from day one, you know?
Yeah.
You're going to be confused as shit when you listen to this podcast.
No, when I watched, exactly. When I watched,
because none of it makes sense.
Except for the parts that do.
Yeah. When I watched, you remember, right, Daniel? When I watched, I listened to earlier podcast, and so I was like, how do you make a discussion about nothing? I mean,
how do you talk about that paradox? Like, how do you talk about nothing? Yeah, and it's just this, you know. I love this podcast because we have yet to outline or script a show. We've yet to set up any type of like, what should we talk about tonight? What should we talk about on this episode?
I mean, you shouldn't either. You shouldn't either. That's the whole point of this conversation, because once the thought comes to mind, it becomes conscious, right? Yeah. So if there is an established agenda for what you are going to say,
there's labels. There's more labels again. Yeah.
Yeah. So then it doesn't remain the same.
Well, once you've listened to one podcast, you've heard them all.
It's true.
But you'll keep coming back.
I mean, you're here right now and listening. So, like, there's proof of it right there. But I will say this. Because you're here and you're listening to this right now, you want more out of life. You want more than what you've got, which is your problem. I'm telling you how to solve it right now. Stop thinking you want more out of life. You have everything you could ever need right now.
Yeah, sure.
Once you accept that fact, the whole rest of it is like.
but it's not just that, right? I mean, it's not me saying that I want all the knowledge that I can, or saying that, okay, I want all the money that I can.
Right.
It's just, it maybe comes out of curiosity.
Yeah.
Well, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, a curious
absolutely.
mind is something, while I'm living, what should I do to keep myself busy?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
You can
this is my favorite thing to do. Like, if you've ever hung out with me, you already know, like, this discussion has popped up, and that's just sort of how it is. And like, all the people listening, like right now, future people listening, that's sort of the funny thing about this right now, is that people listening right now are actually future people listening. So they don't really exist right now. But now, like, while they're listening to it, they do exist. So they both exist and don't exist at the exact same time right now.
Only because we're filming this right now.
Only because
so it's not out there. They're not watching.
Right.
Yet.
But, if you're here and you're part of this and you're checking out what's going on, like the doggies, then, like I said, you want something, right? You want something out of this. You're not going to get anything really super beneficial. I don't think so.
That's the whole thing. I don't think I want anything out of it.
Well, that's good. Then you
exactly.
Have listened to
I know I'm in the right
podcast
spot.
I know
I'm in the right spot because that's why I say the whole point of this podcast ought to be, there is no agenda.
Yeah.
So if there is no agenda, there cannot be anything that I want out of it.
Beautiful. Yeah. And that's the way to approach this. So if you're listening, take this man's advice and just listen. Be open, right? Be open to like listening. We could all be full of shit. We are all full of shit. I'm like, the fact I'm talking about this shows that I'm full of shit. Like, I'm telling you, I'm talking about something that I can't talk about. Like, that should prove to you that what I'm saying about it can't possibly be it. But what I'm saying about it can point you towards it. I just can't give it to you. Like, that's on you, It's like, I like to say being a lot. Like, you are being. You're not a being. Like, it turned into a noun somewhere, but it's not that. Being is an action. It's a verb. And you are being. You are literally the universe being.
Whoever the hell you want to call yourself.
Fill in the blank. Fill in the blank.
Yeah.
And if you can just be, right? Look up the word to be in the dictionary, right? Like be, just be. If you look it up, I had a friend actually show me.
There is a word for it as well. To be it's called omnipresent. To be, as in to be anywhere and everywhere at the same time, right? And
it's what you are without thinking about what you are.
Exactly.
It's what you are before you can think about what you are. Yeah.
No, that's why I enjoyed that part of conversation as well, where you guys talk about that I really, where one of you guys said that, okay, I really like it when people just say, people who blabber shit without thinking about it.
Oh yeah, no filters.
Because at least they are being, no filters.
Yeah,
because at least they are being themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Like in Russia, like, people won't hide that they're pissed off at you. Like, if they're irritated, mad at the day, they'll just fucking tell you. Yeah, absolutely. Like, very conscious countries, like, no, like, don't fucking hold that shit in. Like, just be you. Like, you don't need to put on some fake show, because then that's some fake thing you have to pretend to be later on.
That's kind of what I felt when I went to New York as well, actually.
I think
that are very, very similar. If you scratch your shoulders across somebody while you're walking in the street, they are going to speak shit to you.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, that's my man.
Yeah, you got it, man. I'll go fuck myself. I feel you.
Come on now. Fucking walk in there. Fucking walk over there. I was walking fucking here.
Yeah.
Right. I'm walking in your fucking way. I'm a dick. I'm sorry.
So this really happened, right? So I was in New York, and me and my wife, we went there. I have part of the family there. I mean, not close family, but cousins and distant relatives and shit. So we went there once. My wife had never met them, so I was like, okay, we'll go there. So we were there, and we were walking on the streets, and my mother, who is in India, she called me, right? So I'm talking to her. Now the streets are actually really busy. So I'm talking to her, I'm talking really loud. And that's how we speak. My language is such as well, that either I have to talk really loud, or if I talk really slow, the voice won't come out properly. So I was talking loud, and I was in front of somebody who is just seated in the bench wearing glasses, and he's like, hey, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? Move over from here. And like, he's watching something, and I didn't know that I was on his way. So he's watching and he's listening to something. And now I'm blocking his view, as well as he's getting distracted with me talking really loudly. So he was very frank with me, just shooing me off. Hey man, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah, I feel you.
I'm sorry, man, but
yeah. Like, I mean, Jordan's in a company with me, and like my other guys in the company know exactly. Like, I don't hold back. Like, if I've got beef, like, you're gonna hear about it. You're gonna hear about it quick, and you're gonna hear about it as frankly as I can possibly give it to you.
And you want that, right? Like, you want to,
and it'll get over, and it's done, and it's over, and it's past, and it's beautiful.
I mean, we already have language, right? I mean, it's a matter of communication then. Even if you got language, people often don't speak clearly to each other, right? So there is no communication.
Absolutely. That's why vocabulary is so important.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not even anything to do with work either. I mean, in work environment, yeah, you want to work with somebody who understands you and you understand them, in order to collaborate and whatnot. That's fine. But even in general, you actually want to know what this person is like, right? I mean, wouldn't you want to know what I'm like?
Absolutely. That's why I got you on here.
That's why communication is so important.
Yeah, I would love to like get to know you more too, but like I look forward to.
And that's why it's so important to talk freely and clearly.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Because then you're meeting the real person, right? You're not meeting some fake version of them. And like here in America, we have such bad problems with being fake people. Like, yeah. So it's one sort of like the trend, right?
I have few complaints about this, right? So coming from India, I mean, you just pass by a stranger. I mean, if you don't want to talk to them, you don't want to talk to them. If you ask somebody, how are you doing? He'll actually tell you, fuck off, man. I mean, or he'll say, okay, yeah, man, it's been a fucking shitty day, or whatever. They'll speak the truth, at least. Yeah. If they don't want to discuss it, they'll say, fuck off. Mm-hmm. Or if they'll respond, whatever they are feeling, they'll respond as such. But yeah. I mean, being here or living here 10, 11 years now, I realized that, okay, the first thing I realized was that you cross somebody and somebody asks you, how are you? You are expected to say, no, I'm all right.
Yeah. And isn't that ridiculous?
It's ridiculous. It's very ridiculous, actually.
Yeah.
And I'll take it even a step further. It's like, we like to use the truth. And when I say we use the truth, and then we use it in a sarcastic way. Like, how many people do you cross in a day and you say, hey, how are you doing? And then they sarcastically say, oh, just living the dream.
Living the fucking dream, yeah.
Exactly.
I always love being like, how true that is?
Yeah, right? You're like, you know what?
Do you know how true what you said is right now?
Yeah. Or another adage would be, living the dream, or another day in paradise.
Another day in paradise. Just another day in paradise.
Welcome to America, where we want to make it look so well, but we don't give two fucks about what we're saying or the actual meaning behind it. So we're just going to say it. Okay.
Yeah.
But we don't even know what we're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's actually the biggest problem.
This is with full regards of, I obviously respect where I'm living, right? Like, I'm here. I'm here, I'm enjoying it. I mean, nothing wrong with that. But yeah, there are these small ridiculous things.
Yeah, as a society, there's a lot of selfish tactics sort of built into the way we function as a society, you know, such as like money is like fucking number one in this country, which is crazy. You know, fame is huge in this country, right?
Because it correlates right back to money.
Exactly, and power, right? If you're a celebrity, if you don't think that celebrities have power, then explain to me Jeffrey Epstein. That's all. I mean,
well, he didn't kill himself, but
I feel that too. But I'm just saying, like, you don't get away with something for that long without money, power, and fame. And that's just how things sort of are, you know, and it's built into our society. But a lot of people are waking up to that. And a lot of people are like, nope, this is not fucking happening anymore, you know, and it's beautiful what's happening right now. I'm not going to get super into like stances or anything, but right. I will say that I do support what's happening out there. Right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I do as well. And again, it's one of those ridiculous things that shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, it shouldn't have to happen. Shouldn't have to happen.
Shouldn't have to happen. Yep. So I'm like, yeah, I mean, if it's happening, it's for a good reason. Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, me and my guitarist, who's a scientist, we were talking earlier today, and we were chatting about, you know, the universe and like Earth itself, just Earth on its, just that alone. Like when, for instance, when you, right, as a person, you get a cold, right? For instance, you get COVID or something, right? Your body has to build up antibodies, right, to fight it, right? And it fights it and kills it, and then you're like good, and like your body creates soldiers essentially to go in and attack the virus. Well, the Earth is like just the same kind of nature as you are, so it's gonna do the same thing when it catches a virus. And guess what? Right now, we are a virus on this planet, and it's going, guess what, guys? I gotta fucking get a little better. And so it's doing a nice purge, and it's doing whatever it needs to.
You know, balance is it's nature fighting back. I mean, it's trying to create balance with whatever imbalance that we have created. I mean, a lot of times, obviously, most times knowingly, but a lot of times unknowingly too.
Yeah,
there are some really good examples of you know, science. I mean, where science takes you to a gun, to an atomic bomb, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it can take you down to an atom, which can either show you like life and how it all works, or it can show you how to create death, right? Like you take that same atom, right? That's one of the building blocks of the universe, right? Is the atom. You split that bad boy in half. What happens? You know, and they're trying to like smash smaller stuff, like fucking quarks and like fucking, you know,
exactly.
And Planck units and shit. I think they did it. I think they did. I'm one of those I'm one of those tinfoil hat wearer guys where I think that years ago, back in 2016, actually, when they powered on that hadron collider, right? They were like, let's see if we can get this Planck unit to get down a little smaller, but it's smaller than an atom, right? So it's going to pack a lot more energy than one. It would probably destroy the universe, right?
And perhaps it did.
And perhaps it did. And we rolled right over into the next one.
You know, I mean, with
look at the Mandela effect.
That's exactly pointing exactly what you just said. Yeah.
Yep. You know, I mean, science does do a lot of good, and you know, a discovery of quirks probably has a lot to do with good intention as well.
Absolutely.
But it still boils down to intention, and if somebody's got to find a way to use it in a very negative way, there is nothing you can do about it.
Right.
It does boil down to intentions as well.
If you spend enough time in the sandbox, you're gonna
build a bomb.
Everything to do with that sandbox.
Yeah.
But the one thing you're not gonna think about consciously that you're not going to think about
is the sand's still all just there.
What is this box?
Yeah,
and what's outside of this box? Oh my God, it's another sandbox. Holy hell. You're not going to think about those things. You're going to take what's right in front of you and you're going to manipulate and like it's Play-Doh, buddy.
See, I would even.
I'm Play-Doh.
You're also Plato. Just to.
Yeah, to be clear, you are. Nice work, by the way. Big fan.
Yeah. You too. I think even more poignant, though, is like realizing that even outside that sandbox, there's a bigger sandbox, right? And outside that sandbox, there's not really anything outside any sandboxes. It's all just one giant sandbox that has no outside to it. It's all just this. You can't get rid of it. Like Francis and the Lights, one of my beautiful artist. If you haven't listened to him, yeah, go check him out. He's great.
I wouldn't know about him if I didn't hang out with Daniel, but now I know about him.
Yeah. But one of the things he says is we're stuck in a cage, right?
Yep.
Can't escape, stuck in a cage, right? And that's exactly it. You know, tell her she can't escape. The whole damn world's a cage. You know, and it's like, and that's the truth. You can't leave. Like, leave. Yeah, you'll see that you can't go anywhere. You'll see also
all
that,
your rage.
As soon as this thing dies too, it's clear as day that this wasn't you. And like, that's why it's really beneficial to sort of like I said, sort of die before you die. You know, make a conscious effort to die. Not physically. I'm not saying go kill yourself physically. That's not what I'm saying. I just told you suicide's stupid. So you got to kind of like figure out it's sort of a puzzle what I'm saying almost, right? Right? Like, don't commit suicide. Don't get killed by someone, but find a way to die.
Yeah.
If you can do that, you won't have any questions. Like, you won't have any questions anymore. You'll just have fun. You'll just be like, let's check this out.
And check this out. Dare I say, it doesn't matter when it happens. Like, for instance, coming back to that, you know, like that whole little 3-4 day, it might have even been 5 days that I was unconscious. Like, that was not something that was, I was so damn young, man. Like, so to me, that wasn't very important. So it doesn't matter when it happens. At some point in your existence of this physical reality, you're going to die before you actually really, quote unquote, die.
It'll either happen seconds before physical death or it will happen now.
And it only ever happens now. But what I will say is you will experience it.
If this conversation ends, we are all gonna die. So let's keep it going.
That's true.
Well,
you know, but the reality of what you just said, there is a reality to what you just said, because the future us that's talking to the future people listening right now, as soon as they press stop, we die.
We cease to exist. Yeah,
that's true. But what I was trying to point at is that, you know, I thought that you have to experience that in the now, like currently in the now. But if there's any proof that the now and time doesn't exist, it's the sheer fact that I am literally every night and every moment of my existence right now, I'm experiencing something that happened to me decades ago, okay? And clearly, very clearly, it is shocking the hell out of me and it's scaring the hell out of me. This is the second day that is like, holy crap. Oh boy.
It's intense. That's like when I was everything, when I wasn't in, which, by the way, like, this is why I'm full of shit. Okay, guys? Daniel, me, I'm sitting here saying when I was everything. That's always the case. Like, that's never changes. You right now are everything. There's no difference between like now and then another now No, you're always everything. So when Daniel says, when I was everything, that's why he's full of shit.
There it is.
But in that state, right? Like, it's terrifying. Like, it's fucking you're fucking dying. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you're actually dying. You're actually real death. Not like fucking, I'm telling you that physical death isn't real death. Like, actual death is disidentification with everything. In turn, becoming that. And that is death. And when it happens, you have no doubt that it's death too, because you've done it. Like, you've done it fucking infinite times. Like, there's not a number to the amount of times it's happened, because it's actually never happened. It's always this way. You're always, right now, you're actually dead. I'm trying to convince something that's already dead that it's not alive. It's like a ghost, right? Have you seen The Others? If you haven't seen The Others, sorry, spoiler alert, right? The whole point of that movie is that the people living in the house are they're fucking dead convinced that the house is haunted. And at the end of the movie, you find out that it is haunted. They're absolutely correct. But they're the fucking ghosts. Like, the people living in the house now are the people they think are ghosts, but they're really the ghosts. And it's like, that is such a beautiful way of like trying to explain what it is I'm trying to say right now. You're already dead. You've never actually been alive. Therefore, you're already dead. You've always been this.
Yeah, but the egos don't like that, man.
No, not at all. God, not at all.
The ego is like, the ego right now is like punching Parth right in the face.
Yeah, but my point to that now, my point is that like if I punch Jordan now, Jordan's gonna feel it, right?
Ow.
So yeah, he's gonna feel it. So if he's dead and not alive, right? I mean, how do you justify that?
It's real simple.
Well, explain
right back
explain
to those five senses.
Well, yeah, explain to me real quick what it feels like to be dead.
I don't know. I mean, it's probably never happened.
That should be enough proof right there to show you that's why, is because it's not real. Death isn't a real thing. Like, if you're dead right now, you're alive right now, right? You're either alive or...
But maybe that just tells me that I'm
always
still alive.
that. You're always that, yeah. You're always
I'm still alive.
Yeah. So that's always what you've been.
Death.
Exactly. You never have. Have you, Jordan? Have you experienced death?
Have I experienced being alive would be the first question, I suppose.
I experienced death and I went, oh, fuck, it's not real. It's like seeing the smoke and mirrors to a magic trick and going, yeah, I saw that guy float, but I also saw what's making him float. You know? I saw the lady get cut in half, but I also saw the other lady get in there. Those are her legs you're seeing. Like, it's getting shown the magic trick all of a sudden. And it's like, that's why, like, I like to say you're dead, because, like, you're nothing. You're literally nothing. So much nothing that's what you are right this second. And you think you're this, like, or that, or whatever, right? You think you're the thing that you're hearing this with. But you're just hearing. You are just that. You're that in itself. You are hearing. You are the thing that makes hearing possible. You are existence itself. You are consciousness. You are awareness.
Nothing that's false can exist. And what's that saying? Come on, man.
Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God.
There you are.
And that's it. That's the whole concept that we were talking about earlier, right? How do you explain what non-existence feels like?
Yeah, you can never.
You can't, because it's not real.
That's a mystery of life, right? I mean, we feel that at least we'll die physically, right? That's the thing too. That's going to happen sometime.
Yeah,
but somehow we trick ourselves saying that that, that's never going to happen at all.
Right. Well, the thing is like, if you don't want, because like, we'll go back to the magic trick again, right? You see the girl cut in half until you see how it's done, right? You don't see how it's done, and your fucking mind is like, what the fuck? That chick got cut in half. That's literally what's going on right now. The universe is playing such a grand magic trick on you that it's got you convinced that you're a person living inside of it.
Not to be mistaken, though, the universe isn't playing a trick on you.
It's playing it on itself.
Yeah, you are playing it on yourself.
Absolutely. The universe is like, I'm bored. Let's fuck around with myself. It's the same.
Universe is trying to make you do shit, basically.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same reason. It's the same people play it's the same reason people play Guess Who and like the memory game and shit, right?
Yeah. I'd absolutely hate to see what because I know that what the physical version of myself does to entertain itself. Yeah, there's a lot of subscriptions involved, so damn it. I hate to see the bill at the end of this road.
Well, just have faith that the universe will make that happen, because
it'll front the bill.
It's you. Like, the universe will make what's supposed to happen. You don't have a choice in it, because you are the universe.
Well, it's not going to make it happen because it's already happened.
It kind of reminds me of a picture I saw on Facebook that basically a horse is tied to a chair and the horse doesn't move.
Yeah.
Right? Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's all in your head.
It's all in your head. Exactly. There's a picture I also have. It's of a guy who's got like some chalk and he's drawing a cube around himself. And it says, we all live in the prison of our own minds, and it's like, we create our own prison. We create our own like suffering. We create this concept that we are these people, and that because of that, guess what? If you're a person that started living, then that means that you're going to die. It means that you've literally signed on to to something in which you intentionally got into it for the outcome of it, like, which should show you, like, why do you play video games? Why do you just go gung-ho on video games if you play video games, right? Why does one play video games? To go do what they can't do in real life, right? So if the universe all of a sudden realized that it was a self-starting video game, it would pretend to die, right? Like, that's part of the game. But the game's never affected. Like, you can still just start the game back over, which is fine. And at some point you will. And we'll do this again. And we'll say different stuff next.
Yep. And which goes right alongside of that, back to Alan Watts. If you were to dream 1,000 dreams, at some point in time, you dream this exact moment you're experiencing.
Yeah, absolutely. If you had enough time to dream everything you wanted to dream, like, of course this would be part of that, right? Because you'd have an infinite amount of time to dream it. So of course this would be part of the options in infinity. Anyways, well, I think this has been an awesome episode.
Yeah.
I appreciate you being on, man. Hopefully you had a good time.
Oh, yeah, man.
Cool.
Yep.
We'll have to have you on again, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Parts down for
We'll do it.
And,
we'll do it.
And just a side note, outside of this podcast, also, but related to the Perceived Media channel. Parth is one hell of a script writer, and we've read over a script that he sent to us, Daniel and myself, and we're going to make that happen.
We're going to make it happen, yeah, for sure.
And so Parth might become a very
you'll see him more.
Consistent figure. A very consistent figure on the Perceived channel, and I'm absolutely thrilled about that. And
me too.
Yeah, this was a great show. I mean, I learned absolutely nothing from this, so.
Perfect. That was the goal.
Me neither.
So, perfect.
Yeah. That was a good one.
Yeah.
That's true, though. That's true. I mean, there was absolutely nothing to learn. There never is.
Yeah.
Right?
There never is. Exactly. Like,
I mean, it's always a search for something. There is always a carrot in front of you, right? I mean, you are chasing it. It's never going to end.
Right. Well, it's like, like I said, when that happened, sort of my, like, I guess you could call it an awakening or whatever you want to call that in my kitchen. You know, one of the clearest things was like, it happened, right? And then I was like, okay, so I can't tell anyone about this, but it's happened to me like a fucking billion times. Like, how? Okay. Like, so, okay, so, right? Because it's like you just get smacked with like this, like, oh, that's right.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, that's right. You return to unity. Like, that's the best way I can describe it. Like, everything becomes one and you return to unity. And in that moment, you're like, oh yeah, of course. Like, I'm back at unity. I'm back where like it all is. Of course. And like when that happens, it's like, duh, of course. That's always how it's been. So there's nothing to learn. What would there be to learn? No, it's just this. It's just what's going on already. Like, there's nothing to learn.
Yep.
Yeah, of course, man. If you're a mouse in the
in the grand scheme of things, it's just 3 people talking.
Yeah.
Which is what? Not a goddamn thing.
Doesn't matter, exactly, right? In grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter, and that's fine. I mean, that's fine. Not everything has to make sense, and not everything you put out there has to have some kind of, either agenda behind it or something that you want to say. I mean, it could be about, just like this, nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? If you're a mouse and you're in a maze and you find a block of cheese, I promise you that cheese is going to get moved by the scientist. But I hate to break it to you, but you're the mouse, you're the cheese, you're the scientist, and the maze.
And the maze, yep, exactly. And like, that's basically all you can say about it. I can say one more thing about it. And that is, smash the subscribe button and the like button. Give us a comment if you liked what we did. Thanks again for hanging out with us. My name's Daniel. We had Jordan and Parth on today. And again, this has been a discussion on nothing. So tune in next now.
Next
now. No, guys, like it was absolutely fun to be on this show, on your podcast, and hope to be there in near future as well.
You will be.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well,
all right, guys.
I'm not gonna say you will be. You already are part.
You already are. It's happening right now. What other time could it possibly be? All right, folks. Love you guys, and until next time we chat about nothing.
See you.
Peace.